It's time for the most interactive radio program in Las Vegas today. It's time for Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro. Brian will talk sports, politics, entertainment, and anything that matters to you. Feel free to call Brian at 702-221-7283.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Now, Pushing the Limits, here's Brian Shapiro.
Well, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday. It is Pushing the Limits. So glad you could join us. It's your boy Shapiro in the house with Guy David. Hope everybody had a great weekend. And boy, do we have a lot to get to, ladies and gentlemen. From a sports perspective, from a political perspective. Donald Trump spending the weekend in Las Vegas. So what did he do? What did the narcissist, as Bill Maher would describe, the orange orangutan, what did he do in Vegas this weekend? We'll discuss that with you and his cultists that follow him. Also, of course, the NBA Summer League in town. So much to get to there. And Guy, I was at, we're going to get to the second hour, but I was rubbing shoulders with some of the game's best. Had a chance to meet up with the anti-Semite himself, Kyrie Irving. Yeah, I took a picture with him. We'll talk about that. We have some interviews that we're going to play for you. I talked to Mr. David Siegel, who, of course, is the owner of just about everything in this country. Yeah. Siegel Suites, Westgate, the owner of Westgate. Very brief but funny interview I did with him. We'll play that on the air. I had a chance to catch up with DeAndre Jordan. I had a chance to catch up with the former NBA All-Star, the legend Mitch Richmond. I had that interview we're going to play for you. I talked to Russell Wilson. We're going to play that interview as well. I have some very, it was a private event at the Westgate, and it was very interesting, but I have some quite a few stories to tell.
It's going to take some skill getting all this into 2 hours.
It will.
And you didn't even mention some people you spoke to. Jerry West, you didn't even say his name.
I met Jerry West this weekend too.
When you left a 9-time NBA finalist, Hall of Famer out, just because you spoke to so many other people.
It was quite the weekend.
I can't wait to hear about it, because I didn't hear from you much, because I let you do your things. I knew what a busy weekend you had. But Vegas was absolutely electric this weekend with the UFC and crazy. The Summer League and the Webanyana hype, which we'll get into in hour number 2.
Correct. Speaking of electric, we'll talk about Donald Trump's little visit to the UFC fights over the weekend too. Let's
seems to be his go-to these days.
Let's start with that.
He visits NASCAR and UFC because he knows where he'll get cheered, or Alabama football or something.
Let's start with that for a moment. You know, I see these videos circulating of what Joe Biden was doing this weekend, right? And Joe Biden was doing what any normal, decent husband, normal human being would do. He flew up to Delaware. Not because he wanted to meet a bunch of celebrities or he wanted people to kiss his feet. Joe Biden was in Delaware on a beach, a public beach, with his lovely wife, Dr. Jill Biden, lying out with his shirt off, reading a book. Nobody was bothering him. They were respecting him. He didn't even want to be noticed. He wasn't bothering anybody else. He wasn't throwing malarkey hats out into the crowd or toilet paper or whatever else Donald Trump decides to do when he makes a public appearance. He didn't need any handshakes. He was just there getting some sun.
It was quite an endearing photo, actually.
Yeah.
After everything he's been through and the amount of lies that have been thrown at him, he's just on a beach with a chair with his wife, just spending some quality time together, not disturbing anyone. And the reason is because he's going on a big European G8 trip the next day.
Yeah.
He's in Europe right now. He's in England right now. And he wanted to say, hey, Jill, let's just have a day on the beach together.
And he's reading a book, lying with his wife, something that any nice husband would do, going to the beach together. It was a nice...
It was endearing. I
thought it was
humanizing.
Exactly. That's the best word I would use to describe it, humanizing. Joe Biden, a normal 80-year-old man, or how old he is, 100, whatever, spending a normal afternoon on the beach, not wanting to be noticed. He even was, you know what I thought was interesting? You'd never see Trump do anything like this. He's holding his own chair. You know,
that was the best bit about it. He took his own chair.
Yeah, he's the president of the United States, and he's holding his own chair.
It looked like a $12 chair you get at Walmart.
Exactly, but I like that. He's just holding his own chair on a Delaware beach, minding his own business, spending time with his lovely wife. It's a normal thing. That's the point I'm trying to make, a normal thing. And people are saying Joe Biden's the joke. No, let me explain to you who the real joke is. Donald Trump, who wanted to get his feet kissed at the UFC fight and wanted everyone to bow before him and make a spectacle of his visit to Las Vegas. So, what I want to do is I want to start with his speech.
Can we get to that point? just quickly, Joe Biden isn't a joke, okay? They're making him out to be a criminal and they have absolutely no evidence because Trump is trying to deflect off himself. He's been in Congress since the 70s. He's lost a son for cancer that served. He lost a young child and a wife when he was young. He's continued to serve the American people pretty much scandal-free until now when stuff's made up about him. Yeah. To call him even a joke, yes, you can disagree with his policies. Yes, you can even argue he might be a little old. Yeah. That is fair. But it's not a joke.
I agree, and I want to play a little bit of the speech that he made, the bumbling speech that he made with a bunch of lies in Las Vegas. By the way, some people weren't even allowed in, people that are running for office. I won't even mention their names because even if I did, you probably wouldn't know who they are, but some people weren't even allowed in. So I want to start by playing bits and pieces of this Donald Trump speech in Las Vegas. Here's Donald Trump, the man himself who's facing God knows how many indictments. Some of the statements he made, we're gonna respond to it as it goes. Here's Donald Trump in Las Vegas over the weekend.
We're going to deport the criminal, illegal aliens that have come into our country.
Yeah, I'm so shocked that he took the time to attack undocumented immigrants. Isn't that shocking? We're gonna deport all those rapist illegals. I'm shocked that his base loves that too. By the way, isn't that shocking?
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
We're gonna build a wall, and Mexico's gonna pay for it. Those Mexicans crossing the border, they're rapists and bad people, and I suppose some of them are good people. I'm telling you, his clan of followers, they love that stuff. Go ahead, Numchuck.
We're going to obliterate the deep state. We were doing a good job. I fired Comey. I fired that sleazebag Comey. We got rid of him. It was bad news. And very early on, somebody said, "Oh, why didn't you do it fast?" I did it right at the beginning. You know, there's a long-term contract. I fired Comey. That was a good one. That's what we found out about the insurance policy, just in case that you lost, Hillary. Yeah. You know, we call her Beautiful Hillary now, right? We changed her name because she's a beautiful woman. We call her Beautiful Hillary. You know why? Because I'm using the word crooked. I don't like doing the same word for two people. We're using the word crooked for Joe Biden because Joe Biden is the most crooked president in the history of our country by a factor of hundreds.
Stop
He's
it.
really beautiful now because Joe Biden's crooked. He doesn't like using the word twice.
So Joe Biden is the crooked one, yet you are twice impeached. You are facing indictments in multiple cases now. Not just Stormy Daniels, but in your classified documents case, which involves the Espionage Act. But Joe Biden is the crooked one, and people are cheering.
Well, Trump brought this upon himself. He brought every indictment upon himself, especially the last one, refusing to give the documents back. Like, it's insane.
Joe Biden, and then he calls Hillary beautiful. We all know what he means by that. Attacking a woman based on looks. We all know what he's done over the course of his lifetime. Anyway, go ahead, Chuck.
She's a crook. We're going to end all of the things you see and ban critical race theory.
Oh, yeah, ban critical race theory. Boy, that's not a Republican talking point. Excuse me, Mr. President, since you're in Las Vegas, can you name me one teacher in the Clark County School District that is teaching critical race theory? I guarantee you he couldn't. In fact, can you name me 3 teachers across the country in high schools and elementary schools that are teaching critical race theory? I guarantee you he couldn't. It's all right-wing talking points. That's what his cult of followers love to hear. Attack undocumented immigrants, talk about critical race theory, and, I'm sure throw in a little bit of gender ideology. Go ahead.
Transgender ideology.
There it is. I didn't even know
from our schools.
I really didn't.
From our university, we're banning it. We're banning it. What they do. What they do is so horrible. And one of the things that I've been talking about, you have to say before anybody, we are going to end men joining women's teams. No more men in women's teams.
Yeah. Talk about the Republican talking points. Attack undocumented immigrants.
Did you say one thing on inflation or the economy or anything?
No, bring up Hillary Clinton. By the way, Hillary Clinton is not running for office, but he's still going to bring up Hillary. Attack Joe Biden and call him the corrupt one. Talk about gender ideology. Boy, I'm really shocked. That is a playbook from every MAGA that is running.
Can I tell you something about Trump? You going to play some more audio?
Well, go ahead. Continue.
Trump doesn't even know what this stuff is. He's been so self-obsessed and self-absorbent his whole life. He doesn't care about critical race theory. He doesn't care about gender ideology. He cares about appealing to his base. And the unfortunate thing for Trump is he doesn't like his base. He doesn't like any of you guys. He doesn't like the hard-working middle class of America. He spent his whole life chasing around billionaires, trying to be respected, calling Forbes, saying they were undervaluing his net worth, lying, and all the billionaires know that. All the people around him know that. That's why they thought it was a marketing stunt and a joke when he ran for president. They knew he was a class clown. He was on a reality show, and then that started going downhill after it had success. That this was a marketing stunt to run for president, and he hates appealing to you guys because he doesn't believe any of this himself. He wanted to hang around billionaires. He even gave them, they don't like him, and he even gave them tax breaks on private yachts and jets. He appealed to them as well.
Yeah.
I don't understand how his supporters can love him that much. They are prepared to literally die for him, because some have. And do you think he's cared? He's forgotten about you. He only cares about himself. There's no one else. Why does he like his... No, I can't. I can't.
I mean, I agree with you.
I don't understand this.
This is the buffoonery of the Klan that were following him. And by the way, I'm not joking when I say that. At this point, if you went to Donald Trump's event, not because you dislike him, or I'm sure some people went because it's a spectacle. I guess. Yeah. But if you're one of those people that went because you're a Trump follower, you are a cultist. You are a member of a cult. I would imagine many of you are really dumb. You're not very intelligent. You're not very educated, and you listen to the spew of bullcrap that gender ideology, attacking immigrants. I mean, it's the same speech over and over again with these MAGA Republicans, and it gets worse now because now, of all people, Donald Trump is talking about religion. The sinner himself was multiple kids with multiple women, who's cheated on every wife he's ever had.
Well, he's not religious.
Right. But now Donald Trump in Las Vegas guy is talking about religion. Have a listen to this.
Election in the history of our country, okay? And I used to say that about 2016, and I didn't say it so much in 2020 because we had it going well. Little did we realize that everything he said was a lie. He said energy, sure, we love energy. Well, he doesn't love energy. He doesn't love religion either. There's nobody who's religious, Christian, any form of religion that can vote for this guy because they are against religion. You take a look at the Catholic Church. I mean, they're persecuting Catholics. They're persecuting Catholics. They are against religion. They're against so much that we all stand for. So I only say this. This is the most important election in the history of our country.
Yeah.
We're going to have a country that's going to be greater than ever before, or we're going to have a country that's going to be a Venezuela on steroids. Now, Venezuela, think of that. Venezuela is becoming very rich. He won't take the great oil that we have under our feet, our liquid gold, but he's taking the tar from Venezuela, and you know where it's refined? There's only one refinery in the whole world that can do it. It's in Houston, Texas. So all that stuff is spewing into the air, and they talk about all of the things about energy. We are now making Venezuela, the few remaining people, which is mostly because so many of them have left, and they'll never be able to go back.
Can we stop it for a second?
So we're making a dictator from Venezuela.
Right, stop this for 1 second. The last person on the planet that should be talking about religion or attacking others about not being religious enough or not, being a good Christian or whatever it is that Donald Trump is saying. The last person on the planet that should be doing that is Donald Trump. Would you agree?
Trump is not religious.
No, he's not.
He's not religious at all, and there is nothing wrong with that. Because I'm not particularly religious either. I was born a Roman Catholic, but I don't really practice. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But to go say that rhetoric, it's all a lie again to appeal to his evangelical base.
First of all,
he's not religious. He never has been.
And listen, I don't care whether you're religious or not.
Neither do I. Just don't lie.
But the last person that should be talking about religion is Donald Trump. And then he made the statement that Joe Biden doesn't love religion. Where do you get that from? You can dislike Joe Biden's policies. That's fine. We could have debates about whether you think he's been an effective president or not. That's fine. But last I checked, Joe Biden, he appears to me to be a loving father and a loving husband, and he talks a lot. He talks about some spiritual stuff, of course, losing his first wife in a car accident and his daughter. He talks a lot about faith.
He doesn't deserve a lot of what he's getting now, the lies he's getting after all his years. And I say that about John McCain when Trump attacked him too, even after his death. Can I tell you something about Trump? I just remembered quickly, and I can't say this person, but he was a good friend of Trump's, and my former co-host in Wisconsin years ago was best friends with his wife. And he spoke to us and he said, I love Trump. I love playing golf with him. He's the funnest guy to be around ever. And this guy went to his inauguration. And
Trump could be charming.
Right, exactly what he said.
He can be fake.
He goes, if you are in his circle and you're a big deal, you can have fun around him. He goes, I went to his inauguration, but this guy has no business in the world being president. Yeah. Absolutely none. He can't not think about himself for 1 second.
So let's
that was one of his closest friends that I can't name.
Right. I know, I believe that. And by the way, one of his former close friends, Anthony Scaramucci, is going to be joining us on the show next week. He lasted as the White House press secretary for about 11 days, I think. Let's review real quick. This is the gist of Trump's speech. And by the way, I had another clip because he starts talking about crime. I'm going to show you he lied about that. What has Donald Trump talked about for the majority of this speech? He's talked about gender identity. He's talked about Christian faith and religion. Probably the last person on the planet who should be talking about that, but that's fine. He's attacked Joe Biden and said Joe Biden was the corrupt one. He attacked Hillary Clinton on looks. That's really every speech that he makes, and it sounds a lot like Ron DeSantis, sounding more and more like Ron DeSantis every day.
It's all reporters best. His sister, who's a retired judge, said it the other day. She actually said about her brother, who she still loves, this is not the brother I know. He's going out of his way to appeal to his base.
Well, he is, and by the way, the base loves it. The people that went to Donald Trump's rally, let me be clear, when he talks about gender ideology, when he talks about really attacking Joe Biden, attacking Hillary Clinton, when he attacks migrants that are undocumented, particularly, his base loves that.
But he doesn't care.
No, but now
he used to be more left than anybody.
Agreed.
He doesn't care about social issues.
People don't realize that about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, at heart, is a Democrat, but Republicans don't understand that.
I'll just say that I even disagree with you that Trump's a racist. I don't think he's a racist. I think if you don't like him, he attacks you. If you do like him, he loves you.
His ego, his narcissism.
I don't think he thinks about it.
I'll tell you, man, his father put a number on him.
His father was a racist.
His father put a number on him, really did. All right, so I want to play the part of the speech now where Donald Trump starts talking about crime, and this is really, really important. Why is this important? Because when you hear Republicans in general talk about crime, they like to blame Democrats for all the rising crime in this country. Now, I'm going to give you some facts to back up the reasoning why Republicans, some of them, not all of them, are not telling you the truth about this. But here's Donald Trump in an excerpt from his speech in Las Vegas talking about crime. Have a listen to this.
The good news is they've shown how bad they are, and we can do things in terms of crime. We have to solve the crime problem, and you have it here. But some cities, when you look at New York, when you look at Chicago, when you look at San Francisco, what happened to San Francisco, Los Angeles, so many cities, all Democrat run. When you look at what's happened, we have to get involved. We have to help because the crime in this country has gone through the roof at a level that nobody's ever seen before. They walk in to stores now, they just put whatever they want in their cart and they just walk out. Everyone's afraid to do. You saw that clip yesterday where they're taking pictures of the people that are stealing them blind, robbing them blind. And the person taking the pictures got fired. Did you believe it? We should hire him. We should find out who he is. Anyway, it's such a sad thing.
All right, so Donald Trump is not the only person that's spreading lies about why crime is rising and Democrats are to blame. Now let me give everybody some actual real facts and stats, something that you will never hear Donald Trump do on a podium.
These are real facts you're about to give.
And rarely will you ever hear Republicans actually give the real facts because they will blame every crime, every carjacking, every shooting, every mugging, every physical assault on Democrats, and they claim it's happening in Democrat-run cities. Now, let me give you the actual statistics.
Here we go.
From the FBI and the facts. The murder rate in the 25 states that voted for Donald Trump has exceeded the murder rate in the 25 states that voted for Joe Biden in every year from the year 2000 to the year 2020. That's number one. Over this 21-year span, the red state murder gap has steadily widened from a lower 9% more per capita red state murders in 2003 and 2004 to 44% more per capita red state murders in 2019 before settling back to 43% in 2020. The per capita red state murder rate was 23% higher than the blue state murder rate when all 21 years were combined. If blue state murder rates were as high as red state murder rates, Biden voting states would have suffered over 45,000 more murders between 2000 and 2020. And even when murders in the largest cities in red states are removed, overall murder rates in Trump voting states were 12% higher than Biden voting states across this 21-year period and were higher in 18 of the 21 years observed. The numbers for the last couple years are not officially in yet. But as a whole, if you're talking about more serious crimes like murders, they've happened over the last 2 decades far more in Republican-led states than Democrat-led states. Yet, if you listen to Republicans, in this case Donald Trump, talk about murders, he will make it seem like only the Democrat-led states are responsible for all the murders and all the serious crime in this country. That is a lie, and that is not true. They will make it sound like everything is hunky-dory in Florida when it's not, and many other Republican-led states like Texas. Take a look at the murders and the gun violence in those states, and it's the opposite of what somebody like Donald Trump will say on a podium. It is a lie. Now, you can believe what you want to believe, because if you watch Newsmax, or I don't know, does anybody watch Fox News anymore? If you watch Fox News or OAN, they will lead you to believe that it's the Democrats that are not tough enough on crime. I want to remind everybody that arguably the biggest criminal in the world right now is Vladimir Putin. And it was Republican-led President Donald Trump who stood on a stage with Vladimir Putin and sided with Vladimir Putin over our own CIA and our own intelligence. He is the man who writes love letters to evil, murderous dictators.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
President Xi.
Last I checked, it was Joe Biden that called Vladimir Putin a war criminal. So, in closing, Donald Trump talked about gender ideology. He talked about how he wants to deport all these undocumented immigrants. And, of course, the crowd goes crazy because that's his base. He attacks Hillary Clinton and her looks. That's what Donald Trump does. He calls Joe Biden the corrupt one, but it's interesting. Last I checked, I don't think Joe Biden's ever been indicted for anything.
It's his memo. It's his go-to. Turn it around. Look, Trump is not smart, but he knows how to manipulate his supporters. He knows he can lie, and then every right-wing media outlet will go with him, and then some Democrat will try and call him out and say stats for lying, and he'll scream fake news. His supporters will scream fake news, and the overwhelming noise, because yes, you are cult figure-like supporters, will make his point look correct when it's factually not. When was the last time he told the truth? When? He's never admitted he lost the election. I think that's the ultimate cowardice act.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. And, for people out there that are saying that somehow what I am saying, by the way, I just gave out facts on murder
rate stuff.
Listen, there are people that are saying I'm spreading liberal propaganda. If you think I'm spreading liberal propaganda, then go ahead and call into this show right now and tell me something Guy said or something I have said that you would consider liberal propaganda. Go ahead and tell me something.
Back it up. That's one thing we said.
Back it up with something that you think that I said that is a lie or incorrect or not true. I'm giving you the opportunity right now. I'll give out the number. 702-221-7283. Again, the number is 702-221-7283. 702-221-SAVE, even though I can't save some of you. 702-221-7283. If you think I'm spreading liberal propaganda, which, by the way, I'm not, also not a liberal, I know that some of the MAGA fans out there will defend Donald Trump to no avail. It doesn't matter what stats I give you from the FBI, crime rates throughout the country. Doesn't matter what I say. Doesn't matter whether I have literally a video or audio of Donald Trump lying or committing a crime. You're still going to say I'm spreading propaganda. But
I'm exhausted.
Yeah,
I'm exhausted by all of this. And I'm not a Democrat. Right? Like, there's plenty of Republicans I would vote for over Joe Biden. I'm sick of the endless lies and cowardice behavior.
And by the way, the people guy out there that say, Brian, you're obsessed with Donald Trump. If Donald Trump was getting 1% of the Republican vote,
would talk about him.
Then I would agree with you. And I would say, gosh, I might be a little obsessed. The reason why we're talking about Donald Trump more than Ron DeSantis is because Donald Trump is by far the front runner and the face of the Republican Party, whether some of you want to admit it or not. Donald Trump is the face of the Republican Party. He's destroying it in polls. And by the way, Trump had a little meeting, a meeting of the minds with Roger Stone. I texted Roger Stone. He didn't get back to me over the weekend.
Did you really?
Donald Trump had a meeting with Roger Stone and Mel Gibson. I'm sure they were talking about rights, Jewish rights, and I'm sure, Mel Gibson, there's a man of character and credibility. They had a meeting apparently before the UFC fight. They had a meeting of the minds, I guess, and I would have loved to have known. Guy Fieri also was in the meeting. Another guy who's been known for spreading anti-Semitic propaganda. But they had a meeting of the minds.
Interesting choice of people, right?
Yeah, hey, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they're going to synagogue. They went to synagogue next week or something, I'm sure. But anyway, I'm going to give out the number. Amy Tarkanian, the Republican chair, is supposed to be joining us later on in the hour. But we will be taking some phone calls, as I mentioned earlier. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Again, that number if you want to be a part of the conversation. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. 702-221-7283. You know what? Why don't we take a phone call before we go to break? I always like to do that. I always like to
get things going.
I always like to get things right. Exactly. Get things going. Let's take a phone call before we go to break. Let's start off with Chris. Chris, what's going on?
I was watching the live on TikTok, and you were talking about red states versus blue states where crime is more rampant, or murder rates, actually. I believe it was, correct?
I was giving out statistics from 2000 to 2020.
FBI statistics concerning that.
From 2000 to 2020, yes, sir.
I want to know the cities of the red states, because I'll give you an example of Tennessee. Is a red state. Nashville and Memphis both voted blue. Mm-hmm. They are blue cities, but they have a very high crime and murder rates, especially Memphis.
Okay, so
what I'm saying is, you can say it's a red state, but it breaks down into cities as well. You can't just say, red states for Trump, and then have it where it's a blue city. Unfair.
So, okay, well, here's what I think is unfair, sir. You don't seem to have a problem with this, but Donald Trump was in Las Vegas over the weekend claiming that Democrats are the reason why there's crime all over the country. Would you call that unfair?
No, I'd say it's stupidity is the reason why crime is all over.
Okay, so
I was off grid this weekend.
Hold on. Let's just backtrack a second, Chris. I want to ask you that question again because you're saying you think I'm doing something unfair. I'm asking you, when Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans claim that the reason why crime is up throughout the country is all put on Democrats, yes or no, do you think that's unfair?
Yes, I do think that's unfair.
Okay, then we can get somewhere. I appreciate your honesty.
I don't believe it's the political or the political party you belong to.
I agree.
It's morality.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. State by state, city by city, when it comes to crime, carjackings, murders, I agree with you 100%. Now we could get into we could get into like gun control and stuff, right? And we could talk about other things. But crime in general, I'm not gonna blame Republicans or Democrats, but that's the whole reason why I'm talking about this. Because Republicans are getting up on stages like Donald Trump did in Vegas over the weekend, blaming Democrats for all the crime in this country, where I would agree with you. It's not a Republican problem or a Democrat problem, it's an American problem.
No, I wouldn't necessarily say American problem, because, you look at how many people are registered and legal, law-abiding gun owners are not out committing crimes. And I was having a discussion with a coworker the other day. He's talking about getting rid of all guns. You can't get rid of all guns unless you address...
What do you mean get rid of all guns? There's no Democrat that said they want to get rid of all... I don't know. What do you mean by that?
No, my coworker.
Okay, well, your coworker luckily doesn't speak for all Democrats. There's not one person...
I know.
There's not one person in office that's a Democrat that said, quote, I want to get rid of all your guns. Now, they talk about an assault weapons ban. So you could make the claim that, hey, we want legal gun owners to have as many guns as they want, blah, 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 blah. The problem is when you have an 18-year-old that has never committed a serious crime in his life, that is allowed to purchase a bunch of assault weapons and thousands of rounds of ammunition, I find that to be problematic. And we've talked about this before. We've talked about gun control before. The point I'm trying to make is this. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans, every speech they make, want to blame all Democrats for the crime in this country. I haven't seen any Democrats running for office, at least not lately, that blame Republicans for all the crime. Now, they'll talk about gun control and they'll talk about policy, but do you hear Donald Trump over the weekend, Chris, speak about specific policy? He just says red meat stuff. Right. See, that's my issue.
I was off camping. I was off the loop.
Right. Well, he'll make generic statements like he always has, like build a wall, Mexico's going to pay for it. Or in this case, when he was in Vegas, we're going to deport all undocumented immigrants. Doesn't say how, doesn't say where the money's going to come from. No policy differences from Joe Biden, but says the things that his base enjoy him talking about, which is attacking those that are migrants, legal or illegal, talking about gender identity, but no specific policies. He calls Joe Biden corrupt. He attacks Hillary Clinton on looks, but there is absolutely no substance to any of his speeches.
Well, a lot of Democrats do the same thing. Like, there was Joe Biden a couple of weeks ago. He was just talking about Trump. No, it wasn't Biden. It was his, what's her name? The press secretary?
Pierre. Yep.
Pierre, thank you.
Okay.
She was talking about Trump's indictment and just putting out there that he did this, he did that. And I was under the impression that in this country, still innocent until proven guilty.
This is important because I watched that press conference. She did not say ever, he did this, he did that. What she did say was, these are serious accusations, and we're going to let the court play itself out. She did not say Donald Trump was guilty, so I think it's very important. You can't mischaracterize what she said. She has been very consistent that they are trying to stay out of it, and that she said these are serious accusations, and we will let the court play itself out. I have absolutely no problem with that statement that she made. And when Joe Biden makes speeches, and when Joe Biden talks to Americans, he usually talks about policy. He'll talk about gun control and what he's trying to do. He'll talk about student loan debt. He'll talk about things that are important to the American people. While many Republicans...
And some of the things he says are flat out lies.
Okay, like?
He lowered the deficit by $1.7 trillion.
Okay.
He didn't. When he said that when he took office, gas prices were over $5 a gallon. He's responsible for bringing them down. When he took office here in the state of New Mexico, where I live,
he never said, quote, I'm responsible for bringing them down. He never, again, you're saying things.
Oh, no, put it the Putin gas.
He was, okay, I was generalizing.
Okay, well, let's not generalize, because if you're talking about actual statements that the president made, you have to be accurate. Let's not generalize.
Okay, accurate statement.
Yes.
Accurate statement.
Please.
He said $5 a gallon under Trump.
Yes.
Which was a lie.
Okay, so
he did not.
The gas prices were extremely high when Trump left office. We had the war in the Ukraine, which made the gas prices certainly higher. I'm trying to understand.
The war in Ukraine started under Biden.
I understand that. And I just said when the war in the Ukraine started, the gas prices continued to rise at that time.
Okay.
I mean, when we talk about a blatant lie would be, I won the 2020 election in a landslide. Donald Trump makes that statement every day. When Donald Trump says the election was rigged and I won in a landslide, that's a lie. When Donald Trump says all the crime cities and states in this country run by Democrats, crime is on the rise, that's also a lie.
I'll give you that one, it's a lie. The whole debate about winning the election, I'm still up in the air because there was a lot of, there were some things about the election.
What do you mean you're up in the air about it?
I'll give you an instance. In Michigan, in Detroit, a voting center, there was a Republican, like you're supposed to have a Republican and a Democrat, blah, blah. The Republican was not allowed to go into the count room.
Okay, so you have anecdotal evidence, and I never heard of this before, that because hold on, let's go with that.
Even if he won Michigan, he still lost the election.
Let's say you're 100% right, sir, and by the way, I'm not sure you are, that a Republican was not allowed in some sort of count room. That makes you not sure whether Donald Trump won the 2020 election when he lost by 9 million?
I didn't say he didn't win. I'm not saying he did.
You said you're not sure. How could you not say? How could you make... okay.
Brian, let's say what he's saying is true and somehow there was a huge corrupt scandal in Michigan and somehow Trump won Michigan. He still lost the election. He lost by that much.
According to...
You had to change like 4 or 5 states.
Correct. There was no evidence of widespread voter fraud, and if there was, Donald Trump's own attorneys had the opportunity to show it in court.
50 lawsuits.
They lost 61 times.
61,
To this day, the only person that claims he has the evidence, we're going by the MyPillow guy and a felon in Dinesh D'Souza. Sir, with all due respect, I appreciate the phone call, Chris, as always, and you're welcome to call back any time, but I'm sorry, you're just mistaken. Let me be very clear. Joe Biden won a free and fair election in 2020. There is zero evidence of widespread voter fraud.
How can you say he didn't? And like, seriously, say there was voter fraud in 3 states, which there wasn't.
Yeah.
He won by so far, you'd have to flip 5 states.
Listen,
that's how much he won by.
Listen, guy, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
It's ridiculous.
It's mesmerizing to me. Anyway, we're going to open up the phone lines. We're going to take a break, and here's what we're going to do. If you want to call into the show, we're talking about Donald Trump's visit to Las Vegas. He talked about gender ideology. He talked about,
critical race theory.
Critical race theory. I forgot about that, which, by the way, doesn't really exist in our schools.
I do.
He talked about deporting all illegals in this country. He attacked Hillary Clinton on looks. He called Joe Biden corrupt, and then he made lies about crime and claimed that Democrats are responsible for all the crime in this country. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take
Trump's mistaking here quickly. I'll give him credit this. He ran a very different 2016 election and he won. I'll say he won. He beat Hillary, flawed candidate. This is not going to beat Joe Biden. He needs more substance than critical race theory and gender ideology. He needs to go outside his base, which he doesn't have.
I agree with you. Here's what we're going to do, Guy. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to take more of your calls on the other side. Hey, if you disagree with us and you think Trump's visit to Vegas was great, and if you'd like to misquote Pierre or misquote Joe Biden, I guess you're welcome to call in and do so. I'm just going to call you out on it. 702-221-7283. Joe Biden never said he's responsible for lowering the gas prices. That's also not true. And Pierre never said that Donald Trump was guilty. She never said that.
No, she used the words alleged.
Yes, of course. So it's important that we don't misquote people. People do it to me all the time. 702-221-7283. And again, the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. He's Guy David. I'm Brian Shapiro. 702-221-7283. We'll take more of your phone calls on the other side. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Wynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Wynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines, beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase affordable day bed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit sapphirepoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD tests, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement, and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
Welcome to Hash House A Go-Go, where we've been serving farm food and crafted cocktails for over 2 decades. Visit us for the full Hash House experience at any of our 5 Las Vegas locations. Hash House A Go-Go is where old school meets new and gets twisted. We bring people together over good food and fun. Come in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and come hungry because our portions are huge. Visit us online to see our entire menu at hashhouseagogo.com. Hash House A Go-Go. It's a Midwest thing, and there's nothing else like it.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. We're talking about Donald Trump's visit to Las Vegas and the lies that he told in his speech. We're also taking phone calls at 702-221-7283. Guy David in the house. I want to tell you guys about my good friend Blake Gwynn, Keller Williams. If you're thinking of buying or selling a home, I'm telling you right now, there's nobody better to contact. Why? Well, I have a personal story to tell. My family's moving here in a couple weeks, and Blake gave my mom some wonderful advice on buying a home. He could not have been nicer to my family, and just made them feel so comfortable. He's lived in Vegas his whole life. His grandfather, of course, the former Kenny Gwynn, the former governor of the great state of Nevada. He's lived here his whole life, so he knows what he's doing. Even if you're just thinking of buying or selling a home, can you please give my friend Blake a call at Keller Williams? His number is 702-540-3311. Again, that number, 702-540-3311. I promised I would take some phone calls on this because it's funny, people will make claims of, you're just spreading liberal lies. And then I say, okay, let's go with that. Guy, give me an example of one liberal lie that I've told on the show.
You're very fair. You're saying if you dispute anything I say, come on. Yeah. You prefer speaking to Republicans. We're going to have a civil debate.
Absolutely.
That's what we're going to do. You're an open book. You're an open book.
Listen, Chris called in. We obviously disagree on some things.
But he was okay. He was fair.
Yeah, I didn't like how he misquoted some things, but...
it's better than abusing you.
He can call back anytime, and people are welcome to call in. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Kevin. Kevin is next on Pushing the Limits. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, Brian. This is Kevin. So I was just listening to what you guys were saying and the caller that called in. But just overall, I don't. There's no end to these people as far as the MAGA Republicans and how they support him. I just really hope people really just keep opening their eyes and just keep this guy out of office, because he is like the worst thing that can ever be in our political system. But what's done is done, and the damage that he's done so far is so great. It's it's going to take years to undo. But people really do have to just really open their eyes. You can't keep being a cult.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. And, it's incredible because, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, pre-Donald Trump MAGA cult, if you had asked me what a Republican stand for, I would have had a pretty good answer. And, I'm still friends with, Reagan Republicans and what they stand for. And even though I might disagree with some of their ways of thinking when it comes to policy, I had a pretty good understanding of what Republicans stand for. If you ask me today, what do Republicans stand for? They're against critical race theory. They talk about gender ideology and how drag queen shows are killing our kids. They don't want to talk about gun control. They don't want to talk about health care. They want to blame Democrats and Joe Biden for all their problems. And they start these culture wars, and they start talking about things that really don't exist. Critical race theory, for the most part, does not exist in our schools. There might be a couple college professors out there that are teaching critical race theory, but it doesn't exist, and nobody was talking about critical race theory before the MAGA Republican movement. And, this gender ideology stuff, I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, guy, and he's like, why are there so many transgenders today? And I said, well, maybe because they feel a little bit more socially accepted today than they did 10 or 20 years ago. Why is it that in Iraq there seem to be no gay people? It's not because gay people don't exist. It's because they're afraid to come out because they don't want to die.
They get the death penalty.
Now, luckily, that's not happening in the United States of America. But for many, many years, and still to this day, people in the LGBTQ community are not treated the same. They're discriminated against. Now, it's getting better, thank God. But that's why more people are more comfortable in coming out, and that's why more transgenders are being able to I guess it more being more socially accepted, but there's still people out there that are attacking them, and I don't understand why.
Right. No, I got you. I do. It seems like the conservatives have really perfected weaponizing any talking points. They can just. I mean, things can be pretty weaponized pretty badly now, and I'm concerned that we're not picking it apart good enough. Like, you're bringing up the points and the facts about the different states. If you tell a lie long enough, it'll begin to begin to be the truth to people.
Right.
And the problem of the crime in the states is that we have to get a hold on it, but we have to be realistic and honest with each other. That look, there's not no red or blue. But I'm not. What I talk about, it sounds like kumbaya. Let's all come together. That's not going to work because we're so divided.
It's not going to happen. It's certainly not going to happen if Donald Trump is going to be the face of the Republican Party. There are some Republicans out there that are willing to work with Democrats. I would say Mitt Romney being one of them. But there are few and far Republicans today that are willing to work with Democrats across the aisle, and I could not agree with you more. We all win as a country, right? If Republicans and Democrats can come together and just stop the divide. But Donald Trump came to Las Vegas, and all he did was the same thing he always does: attack women on looks. He did that with Hillary Clinton. Call Joe Biden corrupt when it's actually Donald Trump that's facing all these very serious felonies and these indictments.
The most hypocritical remark. Look at a playbook here for a second, bro. And Trump's caused all this when he was meant to come in and drain the swamp.
Thank you, by the way, for the call. We appreciate you, my friend. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
He was meant to come in and drain the swamp and not be a politician. He's been made things more divided than ever. But look at these three dictators for a second. Putin, Kim Jong-un, President Xi, worst dictators in the world, awful humans, murderous dictators.
Yeah.
They know if you say nice stuff about Trump to him, he will be nice to you no matter who you are and what you've done. And they all know that. And that's what Putin has done.
But here's the
He said nice things about Trump.
Yeah.
He knows Trump will always have his back and be his puppet now. But you know what's crazy about this? Now his support, his MAGA people have followed him, and now all of a sudden Russia is some glorious country that had every right to invade UK.
I agree. And here's
this is insane. It's all because Putin said nice stuff about him, so Trump can't condemn him.
Here's a perfect example, Guy, of what you're talking about. I look at Kayleigh McEnany, who has brown-nosed Donald Trump for years, lied for Donald Trump for years. She has, taken his side on everything and lied for him. She goes on Fox News, and the second she puts up some poll that Donald Trump doesn't like,
He calls her milquetoast and starts attacking her. He attacks every...
Do you know why he said that? Because she said he was up on DeSantis by 30 points instead of 37. She is his most loyal servant.
And he attacked her.
She will do anything for him, and he did that to her.
I think it's pretty obvious here in a nutshell. Donald Trump is mentally ill. Obviously, his father, I guess his father never thought his son was good enough. He's probably the most insecure person on the planet. Has to have his feet kissed on every moment of his life. And he's mentally deranged. He's mentally ill. He's obviously not right in the head. And unfortunately, there are a lot of cult followers of his. And listen, I talk to them all the time. I'm happy to have conversations with them. I just don't understand why you would continue to support this man. Not to say that I'm a huge Joe Biden supporter either. I wish somebody would run in 2024.
Me too.
But if you're going to say that there are not cultists out there, have you seen any malarkey flags on the back of pickup trucks? Have you seen that? People who support Joe Biden are not cult followers. How many cult followers are in the MAGA movement with their hats and with their shirts and with their flags in the back of their trucks? That is what a cult looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back to the calls at 702-221-7283. Let's go to Al is next. Hi, Al. What's going on?
Happening, man. How you guys doing? How was your weekend?
Doing good, Al. Doing good. I'm going to actually get into the weekend a little bit next segment, my friend. What's going on?
Well, I went down to the to the Donald Trump thing.
You almost said MAGA. I almost got you to say MAGA. That's okay. Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, I went to the MAGA thing because there was a lot of MAGA shirts, and it was basically a MAGA. You know, I'm Republican, side Republican.
I know.
Some of the people that are on my party, or some of the guys are they're kind of a little out there on the right side.
Yes.
Kind of funky. I didn't get in. You know, it's kind of funny.
Why not?
Get in. I could have got in. I knew people that could have got me in, but I didn't want to cut in on because then. The thing is that as Republicans, that's one of our problems is that we easily criticize each other. So I wanted to go be just a regular guy, and I didn't get in.
So you weren't able to get in. Can I ask you? May I ask you,
yeah.
why did you decide to go? What was like the main reason, Al, why you said, I want to go to hear Trump speak?
Well, I want to hear what he has to say and see his demeanor and see if he's changed.
You really believe he's changed?
His attitude, if he learned anything from the last 4 years when he ran. There's an old saying, a man never crosses the same river twice because, he's a new person when he crosses it and the rivers change and the grounds change. So, you never cross the same river twice. And so I kind of wanted to see if there was a change in the man.
So Al, I get what you're saying, but this man is only a few years younger than Biden. He's pushing close to 80 years old. Do you really think that there's any chance in your mind that this man, Donald Trump, is ever going to change?
Well, I think everybody changes. Is there going to be a significant change? Is that that's the case? Is there going to be something? If he's bringing something new to the table?
So you were hoping that he would change his demeanor. You saw the speech. We played excerpts of the speech where he talked about gender ideology. He attacked Hillary Clinton on looks. He called Joe Biden the corrupt one. He talked about deporting all the illegals. So I think it's fair to say that your hope is gone because he hasn't changed. It was the same Donald Trump speech, right?
Well, for the most part, yes. For the most part, yes. He did. Everybody's had some accomplishments in their life. My God, if you haven't had any accomplishments in life, what kind of person are you? He did reiterate some of the things that he did well that some people liked. But yeah, I don't think that I didn't get inside, so I actually saw some of the speech on video.
Is it true, Guy, that you were also kicked out of the Trump rally? I heard a rumor about that. Is that true, Guy?
No, I was not true. I was not kicked out, but you heard about. I don't want to go there because that's a political, an internal political thing. But there were some people that got kicked out.
I know. I know some of the names you're talking about. I'm not even going to mention their names on the air because
Yeah, I know you know what's up with that party. I know what's up. But
go ahead.
I did want to mention this.
Yes.
So I got in after the event, and because I usually go in there to network. Not only did I go to listen, I wanted to hear what Trump had to say, but I also wanted to network with some of the fellow Republicans that are in the party.
Yes.
And then they had an event at the same church the following day where the pastor of that church went there, and then he got to talk. And it's up to you. Really, I don't want to badmouth my party here, but the venue Donald, according to the pastor, Donald Trump went to the pastor and he was upset because he was, why is this venue so small? Because there was about 2,000
Because
people.
his hands are very small. That's why. That's why. If your hands are small, then the venue's small. Yes.
I have my theories, but I can't say it. But anyways, so it was a small venue. Trump complained. A lot of people were left outside.
Will you go to another rally even after your experience of not being able to get in? It was the same Donald Trump nonsense speech. When he comes back,
no, I'll get in. Next time I'm going to get in. I'm going to get in early and all.
Why? Tell me. Why would you go? I just
want to see what this, because right now I'm kind of leaning more, and we don't have great candidates, right now, and so believe it or not, I'm kind of leaning a little bit. I'm in the middle. I'm kind of leaning more towards DeSantis.
Here's the only reason why I would go. Like when you drive past a car accident, you really don't want to look, but you look. We call that rubbernecking. That's kind of like why if I had an opportunity to go to a Trump rally, I'd go just to see some of the people that are there and just laugh because it's pure entertainment. That's what I would do. You don't want to look at the car accident, but a part of you looks anyway, and that's kind of.
That's why I'm sure there's a lot of people that went for that specific reason.
You're probably right. Hey, Al, I got to get to some other callers, my friend, but I appreciate your call, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
All right, brother.
Appreciate that. Let's try to steal one more call before we go to break.
Steal it.
Yes, 702-221-7283. Let's go to Edward. Edward, what's happening, man?
Hey, what's going on, Brian? Hey, guy, how's it going?
Guy's doing very well. I'll speak for him.
Sorry, I can't hear very well.
He doesn't have his headphones, so people can hear on TikTok. It's incredible. We don't have 3 headsets here. That's my fault. I take responsibility. Go ahead, Edward.
If you scream, I can hear.
I want to bring up a little topic that happened this week, and I just want to let you know I'm safe and everything's good. But this is what happened my week. I attempted suicide on Friday, and I got home. I just got home. I got safe. And I'll tell you what, I know we talk about politics and stuff, Brian and Guy, but I'll tell you what, man, there's a lot of good people out there. And I'm really thankful for all the people out there, man. I didn't look at these people as religion, politics, or anything. They're just good people in general. And
Edward, okay, let's slow down a little bit here. I'm glad that you're okay. Are you getting help?
Yeah.
Are you getting help?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
And, I was just.
Do you have friends and family? Do you have friends and family that are helping you? Okay, good.
And I was really depressed. And I was thinking, man, there's so much craziness in the world. We talk about politics and religion and all this fighting.
There is, brother, there is.
I saw the people that really care and people love you.
Yes,
you know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there that are amazing. And, we got to put our differences to the side sometimes. You know that?
I got to tell you, I don't know if this show is good for you, my friend, because it raises some blood pressures. I'm making a joke, but in all seriousness, brother, I lost my sister 6 months ago, and it was a very dark time for me, and quite frankly, it still is. But the reason why I'm getting through it, probably the same reason why you're getting through it, is because we have our family and friends, and we know that there are people out there that care about us and love us, and I recommend.
And it's okay to disagree. You know that?
It definitely is okay to disagree. There's one thing I don't like to put up with. It's bigotry and hatred and treating people differently
100%.
because of your sexual orientation or the color of your skin, and people say, well, Brian, why do you call them MAGAs? Why do you call them MAGAs? Mm-hmm. Listen, you know as well as anybody, and I think Guy knows this too, I have many Republican friends that I disagree with. I don't think
that. You mentioned it many times.
Yeah, I don't think they're bad people.
We went to a cigar bar with one.
Yeah, I have many friends that are Republican. There are some people that are bad people, both Democrats and Republicans. And if I think somebody's a bad person, they judge somebody because of their ethnicity. Mm-hmm. Or if they come to Vegas and go on a stage and gloat and brag about how they want to deport all brown people, I think that's a bad person. If they're going to attack people for having a different gender identity or sexual orient. I don't know where that came from, but anyway, if you're going to attack somebody for having a different gender orientation, then you're a bad person. There's a word for that. We call that a bigot. We can have disagreements on policy, and those, like we had Alan Bigelow on the show last week. Mm-hmm. He's a man who served this country honorably, right? An officer, a firefighter. I totally disagree with some of his opinions on certain things, but he's a decent man. And we need more people like that in office that are decent people. Donald Trump, there's nothing decent about Donald Trump. He's just a bad guy.
And, I hated that we talk about these topics, but we have to get real sometimes. And people are getting bullied out there, or they don't want to go to school. They feel afraid to go out in public, and we got to end that,
I agree.
Just because of who you are.
I agree, and let me close by saying this, Edward. I'm glad you're doing better now. I hope that this show gives you a little bit of joy, and maybe you laugh, a little bit of entertainment, because that's really what it's all about. But if you're feeling down or you're not feeling good, make sure you have help. Make sure you have family and friends to talk to. And I'm sure you sound like a good dude, and I'm sure you got plenty of people out there that care about you, my friend. Just be well, be safe, and you're always welcome to call into this show anytime
and I'm
you
sorry
want.
we disagree sometimes, Brian and Guy. I apologize that we disagree.
Hey, Edward,
you don't have to apologize to disagree. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with somebody.
Just quick, are you glad you're still here?
I'm glad to be alive.
Good.
It's the best feeling in the world.
Because you're loved. Did someone save you, or did it just not go through?
My friends saw me and helped me, and we went to the hospital, and I got better. And I'll tell you what, you see a lot of love when you're at the worst. When you feel like you're at your lowest, you see the most love out of everybody.
Yes.
You find out that the world does care about you.
I agree, and I couldn't be happier for you, Edward, that you're doing better, my friend. Please stay safe, take care of yourself.
Yeah, guys.
And you know that you're welcome to call anytime, Edward, and I appreciate the call, my friend. Okay, stay safe.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Brian. We'll talk to you later this week, all right, guys?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Right,
and it certainly, listen, if I could bring anybody a little bit of entertainment and a laugh every day, make someone feel a little bit better about what's going on in their life, then I did something right. We did something right.
I found it very strange that I'm so glad he's still here, that he's almost thanking us after what we say sometimes.
I mean, I can't take credit for that, but I will take credit for maybe turning some MAGAs into more reasonable Republicans. Anyway, I'll take credit for that. I try.
Yeah, maybe. I'd like to see some examples.
I try. A few. They're few and far between, Guy. You're right, but there are a few. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. So I was able to catch up with Russell Wilson, I interviewed. I met up with Kyrie Irving over the weekend. I've got interviews with DeAndre Jordan, David Siegel, who owns casinos and owns Siegel Suites all over the world.
So do you have audio with your interviews?
I have
many
interviews.
Questions about everything, too.
I have all these interviews that I'm going to play for you coming up next. Really had a good time. Mitch Richmond is another name that comes to mind that I was able to catch up with. So we're going to play all these interviews for you.
No more Trump.
No, we're going to get away from the Trump stuff. But we'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Wynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Wynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines, beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. guests can purchase affordable day bed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit SapphirePoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
Film Festival Radio, Saturday afternoons at 3 on KSHP, North Las Vegas, AM and FM, 229-680p, North Las Vegas, and KSHP.com.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits right here. Guy David, I'm Brian Shapiro. Thanks so much for joining us. You know, there's a lot of viruses going around, a lot of colds, a lot of crap in the air. If you need some help, whatever the case may be, they do everything at this place. Sahara West Urgent Primary Care, located at 6125 West Sahara Avenue. I was in and out of there in 20 minutes. They took care of me. I promise they'll take care of you. They take most insurances, and if you don't have insurance, it's only $95, man. You can't beat that. No appointment needed. Give them a call, though. Don't just take my word for it. 702-248-0554. Again, 702-248-0554. You could also visit them online at SaharaWestUrgentCare.com. Sahara West Urgent and Primary Care. Tell them that I sent you. So,
yep.
Fun weekend, guy. I don't know how I didn't even ask you. I'm such an uncaring human being. Before I get to my weekend, how was your weekend?
Uneventful. Didn't do anything.
That sounds fun.
Girlfriend out of town. Dog responsibilities.
Your girlfriend's out of town and you didn't do anything.
What I can say
You didn't even party? I don't know.
Don't question me on this.
You weren't doing any Hunter Biden stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Don't question me on it.
Okay, fine. All right, so it's kind of like a boring, normal weekend.
It's one of those weekends that you just sit down with a Coke Zero instead of a Scotch and watch some weird show.
Not even a Coke Zero. Wow, that's really dry and boring.
Well, when you're sitting down doing nothing, you got to conserve the calories, man.
No sugar at all. Okay,
none.
Fair enough. Well, so obviously we're going to get into NBA Summer League next segment, and
you had some fantastic interviews I want to hear about.
Yes, but we'll get into the NBA Summer League, and we have some breaking news about Wembanyama that we will share with you coming up next segment.
Is this like just breaking?
Yes. So we're going to share that coming up at the bottom of the hour. I'm going to break down NBA Summer League, the pluses, the minuses, so to speak, people that are exceeding expectation, some Vegas people that grew up here that are performing very well also. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So because NBA Summer League was in town, you have a lot of some of the game's best are in town, right?
Yep.
I mean, I met Jerry West yesterday and spoke with him for a couple seconds, and he's just such a nice guy. And he's a legend, right? A living legend. And I normally don't take pictures with people, but, the big names, I do.
There's always exceptions.
Yeah. So anyway, that was cool. But I was invited to a private event at Westgate in the Elvis Suite, the suite where Elvis Presley lived for like a year or something, a short time before he died. And they're having this event, and it's called Players TV. And you got Russell Wilson and DeAndre Jordan, and Mitch Richmond and Vernon Davis and Kyrie Irving and all these players, and Carmelo Anthony and Dwayne Wade. They're all investing money into this Player TV new channel that's going to be opening, which, by the way,
there's $3 billion you just said there combined.
Yeah, by the way, I probably won't be watching it. I don't think it's going to work. But anyway.
Oh, really?
I was invited to this event,
And at the event, you were able to approach these players and these people and very prominent people. And
so what do you mean approach them? It was an exclusive invite, so they were just wandering around.
Yeah, there was maybe a couple hundred people there, and they were wandering around. There was a red carpet. So I'll play some of the interviews I had, but before I do, I took a picture with an anti-Semite yesterday. Yes, I took a picture with a man who thinks that the Earth is flat.
That was a good one.
Who is anti-vaccine, who has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to medicine. I believe he's mentally ill, and I believe he's extremely ignorant. But he was nice enough to take a picture with me.
So I actually don't know.
You know what I'm talking about?
Kyrie Irving.
Yes.
Of course. How could I not?
So
I actually don't know if he's an anti-Semite or he's just stupid. Because I think he just posted that video with actually never watching it, or the book without reading it. I just think he's dumb.
Very good point you made. I'm making a little bit of a joke. You shouldn't joke around about people that are anti-Semites like the Kanye Wests of the world.
But he's showing to...
But I tend to agree with you that he's probably not... Kyrie Irving's probably not an anti-Semite. He's just really dumb.
Dude's a weirdo.
He's stupid. No, it's okay to be a weirdo, but he's just dumb.
Yeah.
And the problem is his dumbness spreads hatred and medical misinformation.
The problem is if you're dumb and you think you're smart.
Correct. So, and
if you're dumb, just embrace it. Like, I'm not that smart. I embrace it. I live my best life.
I wouldn't compare your intelligence to Kyrie Irving. That would be the worst insult in the world. But and you're not stupid. But Kyrie Irving, all these people are walking through this red carpet, and I'm conducting interviews, which I will play all of them for you. But Kyrie Irving was one of those people that walked in with a weird outfit and didn't want to do any of it. I said, Kyrie, could I ask you a couple questions? No thanks. But God bless you.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's what he said to me. And I'm just thinking to myself, dude.
Rude.
You're an investor at this event. Every other person, literally, that is investing, that is a professional athlete, names that are just as big as you, are talking to the media because it's good press for this thing that you're investing in. And not only did he not do any interviews, but they had these panel discussions where Russell Wilson was up there, and every athlete that showed up was part of these panel discussions where they're talking about this player TV thing that's launching, and Kyrie was the only guy that didn't go up there. He had one of his handlers go up there, and I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? You're an idiot. What's wrong with you?
He just seems like an unlikable guy, and it's quite... When I walked into work this morning, I saw you had quite an endearing photo with him. Like, it looked like you guys were happy, which shows...
I went up to him, I said, Kyrie, this is what I said.
Which shows how much of a fake social media can be. So the first question I asked you, is he a nice guy? Did I misjudge him? And you're like, no, he's not.
No, he's not. Listen, I went up to him and I tried to get him to laugh, and I think this is what got, I said, Kyrie, you don't really still think the Earth is flat, do you? And he laughed. I said, can I just get a quick picture? And he said, yeah. And he kind of, it was an endearing picture.
You asked a ballsy question.
I did.
That could have set him off.
I said it in a laughing way, and he gave me a little chuckle, and
which could have come across as condescending in his eyes.
Maybe, but he took a picture of me and he thought it was funny.
That's cool.
And he took a picture with me. All right, so that was the Kyrie Irving moment that I had. So if you don't know who David Siegel is, they did a movie about him and his wife. David Siegel is worth billions and billions of dollars. I mean, he owns everything from real estate to hotels. He's the owner of the Westgate. He owns construction. The guy owns everything. So the reason why he showed up is because this is his hotel.
Yep.
And they're having this big event in the Elvis Suite. So he showed up, and his wife, we're going to try to get her on the show because she has a new book out, sadly talking about the death of her daughter from a drug overdose. And I talked to her about my sister, and so she has a new book out, and lovely lady. She was very nice, and I'm going to have her on the show this week. But I had to talk to David Siegel because it's not every day you get to interview a billionaire. He's a billionaire who has a personality, for sure. And the end of the interview gets a little strange, and it gets a little... I'm just going to play it for you because David Siegel pretty much has owned just about everything in his life. Keep in mind that his wife is standing about 5 feet away.
That's important.
That's important when you hear the last 30 seconds of this interview. But anyway, this is my short, brief interview with the owner of Westgate, David Siegel.
Mr. Siegel, the owner of Westgate, here's a question for you. For no one that's never owned a casino before, what is it like walking through a casino that you own?
Well, I walk through because I'm not allowed to gamble, and if I was allowed to gamble, I wouldn't do it anyway. But I heard somebody say today, I said, why are you gambling? They said, we have fun. So as long as people have fun, make me money, I'm happy.
What is your favorite casino, other than this one, of course, that you would frequent? I'm just curious.
Westgate.
I guess my next question to you is, since there are so many NBA players here today, former and current, When do you think we're going to get an NBA franchise, and would you ever be a part of that?
No. At my stage in life, I've been involved in different franchises. I owned arena football teams and came close to owning baseball and football, basketball. But we will. It's only a matter of, actually, I don't even think years. I think they'll have a NBA team.
Last question. Something you haven't owned in your life that you've always wanted to own, what would that be?
That's a good question. What I wanted to own. I've been pretty lucky. I've owned pretty much maybe a stripper. At least I have a wife that brings home some money.
Mr. Siegel, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a wife that brings home some money. His wife is standing 5 feet away from him when he says he wishes he owned a stripper. That's awkward, man. That was really awkward.
That's love right there. And his wife's going, thanks for the billions of dollars, baby. I didn't do anything.
I want a wife that can make me some money. Can you say something? If you're married to a woman for a long period of time and she's standing by your side, is there anything more disrespectful? Now, listen. Obviously, he was joking. He's a guy that has a very funny sense of humor, and I appreciate that about him. I don't think he was being serious. Maybe he was, but it was still awkward because his wife is right there.
Well, you stumped him with the question. It was a good question. He took like 10 seconds. When you know someone says back to you, that's a good question, they're thinking how to answer it.
Yes.
It's a prolonged time.
Because David Siegel pretty much has owned everything in his life. So I had to ask him that question. Like, is there something you haven't owned? Is there something you want to own?
Or they could have obviously they have a very secure relationship, if he can say that.
Let me tell you something. I would love to get that guy in studio.
Can you?
I'm going to try. We're going to get his wife in studio.
Seems like a good dude.
Yeah,
good,
you gotta
relaxed
see, you got to see
personality.
the movie they made about his wife and about the Siegels. It's very interesting. And his wife just got a new book out. I'm going to be giving away copies of that book later on in the week. But
cool.
She was very nice. But I like his sense of humor.
No, those are good. I liked your questions to him, too.
Thank you.
I like the question, what other casino would you visit? Wouldn't answer
He wouldn't answer. He just said Westgate. And he doesn't gamble. He's smart. So another guy I ran into him. He was there. The guy's like 8 feet tall, and he has a new ring. A member of the Denver Nuggets. He played very limited minutes.
Not many people actually know that if they follow basketball.
DeAndre Jordan, who I have always liked, not the best free throw shooter in the world, but a good dude, and he's had a nice, long NBA career. He's made a lot of money. I've always liked DeAndre Jordan. I've interviewed him before. He's a good dude. So one of the reasons why these players showed up was not just for Player TV, but for also Siegel's wife, her organization, mental illness and mental health. So obviously the John Morant thing comes up. So anyway, here's my interview with the new NBA champion of the Denver Nuggets, DeAndre Jordan.
Good for him.
Here with DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre, thank you so much for being here. I got to ask you, you spent a lot of time in Las Vegas with USA Basketball.
Yeah.
When are we getting an NBA team?
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's very far off.
Yeah.
But, Vegas has been amazing for a lot of different things, sports, music, entertainment, things like that. And, they obviously have a few teams here now. Summer League is here. Right. So it's we have some exhibition games there in Vegas a ton. But it's a city that is definitely calling for a basketball team, just like a lot of other things, but Vegas is great.
We're here to talk about mental health. John Morant is a name that comes to mind. What do you make of his situation, and do you feel like more needs to be done to help people in the league like the John Morants of the world?
I think John is a young player with a good heart. We all go through many different things, and I don't know the ins and outs of John's situation, so I can't really speak on that too much. However, I do believe that the mental health aspect, it's big for us to be able to talk about it as a community, a brotherhood in the NBA and any other sports association, just to be able to make people feel comfortable having those conversations.
The last year for you, now that you've had a little time to reflect on it in your career, what has this been like for you the last several months, now that you've had time to think about it?
I think about what exactly?
Just the season that you had with this team.
The season has been great. I mean, I'm still on a high of us winning the championship, so I'm excited about that. But it has been an amazing ride for me, finishing up my 15th season and going into a 16th. it's humbling. So.
Last question. What do you think about this midseason tournament that the commissioner just spoke about? Final Four here in Vegas. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, another great opportunity for us to play basketball in Vegas. So I think guys will be competitive as usual. This is something that is very new for all of us, fans included. So I'm sure it'll be somewhat of an adjustment, but it's basketball at the end of the day.
DeAndre, thank you. Good guy. I like DeAndre.
You can tell in an interview when a guy's a good guy.
Good dude.
Seemed very genuine, answered your questions.
By the way, he's walking in there with a cowboy hat, and I just liked his getup. He's just a good dude. And you know what? There are certain players that you say, why is that guy still in the league? The reason why DeAndre Jordan's still in the league, for the most part, I think he's a likable guy and he's a good teammate.
Exactly. He's such a good dude that he has trouble saying no. We all remember when Mark Cuban dined him and he said he's signing with the Mavericks and didn't know how to tell him, no, I made a mistake. I want to stay with the Clippers.
Yeah.
But he seemed like that. And some of these athletes just sometimes you can tell they don't want to answer questions.
Yeah.
He generally gave the time and
I
effort.
got the impression like I could have asked him 10 more questions. He would have answered.
Me too.
Here's the opposite of that. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not a big Russell Wilson fan. Okay. Russell Wilson is one of those people that showed up at this event with about 8 handlers. He was like Floyd Mayweather walking in. It's
God.
It's like, dude, you're not Tom Brady. Calm down. Okay, calm down. That's number one. That was my first. Number two, he seemed like he wanted to get out of the red carpet, and his people were like, only 2 questions. But it got worse. It got worse after. So I was only able to ask like 2 questions. And then I actually got in trouble for asking one of those questions. And then the other question they wanted me to delete from my phone. So I'm gonna
Which one? I heard both of them.
Yes. So I'm gonna play it for you first. Okay. I'm gonna play this very brief interview that I had with Russell Wilson yesterday. Very brief. And then I'll explain what happened after with some of his handlers. Here's me speaking with Russell Wilson. Here with Russell Wilson. Russell, first of all, I have to ask you one football question. If I told you 10 years ago that Vegas would have the Raiders, I'm just curious, what would you have said?
What would
you have said if I told you the Raiders would be here?
Not surprised. Obviously, it's a great city to play.
Yeah. What do you think of a lot of professional athletes, especially lately, have been more outspoken about mental health, and that's a big reason why you're here today. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of that? And the average fan probably doesn't understand what you guys have to go through in your head, just the physical aspect of sports. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I think we all have ups and downs. There's challenges everywhere, and I think the more that we can support each other, the more that we can love on each other, the more that we can encourage each other, the better.
Thank you, Russell. All right, so two very basic questions, right? 2 very normal questions. I asked him one Vegas. It wasn't even really a sports question.
You weren't conservative. It was like you listened to his people. You're like, I'm going to ask you the most layup questions you can possibly.
These guys are breathing down my throat as people.
Exactly.
I asked him about, did you ever think the Raiders would come here? He spends a lot of time in Vegas. Very normal question, right? And then I asked him about mental health because, Siegel's wife is there, and they're all talking about mental health. Players talk about it. So I get that one of the...
Here's a layup, Russell.
Yeah, so one of the PR people come up to me, and the first thing they do, no more sports questions. Like they make this big announcement on the red carpet. If anybody asks them a sports question, you're kicked out. No more sports questions.
Because you said about the Raiders coming to Vegas.
I'm like, what
did you think 10 years ago?
Are you effing kidding me? First of all, I wasn't asking him how horrible his Denver Broncos are and what a horrible season he had. That would probably be an inappropriate question, even though it's true.
Hey, Russell, how do you think your mentality's changed since last year when you had the private office and you had parking spots for your entourage and you didn't talk to anyone?
Yeah, Russell, is it true
that you learned from that?
Yeah, Russell, is it true that you didn't give your phone number to your teammates? Okay. So that would probably be an inappropriate question at this kind of event, right? I would like to ask that question. I would like to ask him about the horrible year he had.
We agree, inappropriate.
But I asked him 2 general questions. One about Vegas and another question about mental health. So here's what happens after, Guy. Now that we've established that I didn't ask anything out of bounds, for lack of a better term. One of the PR people come up to me and they say, hey, man, you got to delete that question about mental illness. I said,
why?
I said, why? Our people, and all of his people, they don't want you to have that. You're going to have to delete it. And I said, yeah, okay, I'll get right on that. That's what I said.
Yeah, we just played it then.
Yeah, I'll get right on
Morons.
that. I'll get right on that, you dopes.
That makes me so mad. And look, I thought Russell Wilson had been humbled after last year when the whole world finally caved in on him and exposed him because I believe he was he wasn't a good a player. He played really well under Pete Carroll, and I believe he got exposed and cocky last year. But I think he's just another weird guy. Like, I think Travis Kelce said it best when he spoke to him. They went to the middle of the field after the game to speak to each other.
He's not a very likable teammate.
And they spoke about Harry Potter.
See, but I don't mind people being weird, right? We're all different, and like I have my weird ways about me. Like, I don't mind being weird, but dude, why do you have to walk around with 8 handlers around you? That's number one. We're all talking about mental health, which should be a positive thing. Like, why would you not want to talk about that? And by the way, I thought he gave me good answers, like, decent answers.
I mean, he was okay.
It's like, dude, there's not a lot of people on the red carpet. Your people are saying you only get 2 questions. You're not in a rush. You're there to promote Player TV or whatever the hell it's called. I have no problem asking you about that. That would have been one of my questions. But if you're only going to give me 2 questions, I'm going to ask you one Vegas question that's appropriate about the Raiders. And then I'm going to ask you about mental health.
He comes across as exceptionally arrogant.
He's extremely arrogant. You're not Tom Brady, bro. Okay? You're not going to succeed in Denver. You're not the QB that everyone's made you out to be. I know you got a Super Bowl, but you're not the QB that everyone's made you out to be.
This is his last chance.
Yeah.
He's done.
He's done. Denver's not going to work out for him, okay? You are, I'm sorry.
They took Sidham from Vegas for a reason.
And then when we walk into this event, right, he's way in back so nobody can talk to him. Like, even Kyrie Irving is standing right in the middle of this room where anybody can go up to him and talk to him, and I did that. Not as a member of the media, just as, hey, Kyrie Irving is socializing with people and shaking hands. DeAndre Jordan is talking to everybody, and what does Russell Wilson do? He goes to the back of the room where nobody can see him with all of his handlers and just stays there. And I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? It's not like there's 1,000 people here, okay? Nobody's asking you for an autograph. God forbid 1 or 2 people ask you for a picture. Just a weirdo, dude. It's like, I hope he has another horrible year in Denver. I'm going to say that right now. Russell Wilson, I hope you fail in Denver, and I hope your career is over.
Well, this is his last chance.
I really do. I'm not rooting for him, and I hope the Raiders spank him. I really do.
He's not a likable guy. All the players came out last year and said it. They're like, he doesn't talk to us. He doesn't. No one liked him in Seattle. And Richard Sherman hates him. They won a Super Bowl together.
You're right. And listen, I understand Russell Wilson is put up a little bit higher than Derek Carr, but at least dealing with Derek Carr, he's a nice guy. He's a family man.
He seems like a genuine guy.
He's a genuine person. He's great with the media. He's a guy that you root for. I've always rooted for Derek Carr. I want him to succeed. It didn't work out here. He's a nice guy. He's a normal dude. Russell Wilson is an arrogant puke.
I hope Derek Carr succeeds in New Orleans. It's a fresh start for him.
Arrogant puke. There's one person on the radio airwaves in Las Vegas. I call him the millennial puke. Some people know who I'm talking about.
I don't.
It just kind of reminded me of that. No, you don't know who he is.
You're not dropping a name?
No, nobody does. He's a millennial puke. That's what he is. But anyway. By the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, he talks about UNLV basketball in the middle of like the non-college basketball season. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Millennial puke. Anyway.
That's right.
I did catch up with a guy who hosted this event. Pretty darn good football player. I think he's 38 years old now. Vernon Davis made like national news, if you remember, when he retired like at halftime and he didn't come back out.
It was bizarre.
Yeah, it was a really bizarre thing. So you want to talk about somebody
Antonio Brown thing.
somebody to ask about mental health, but Vernon Davis could not have been nicer. He came out and he hosted this event, and so I wanted to play this interview because this guy's a legend. Yeah, Vernon Davis is a legend, a legendary player in the NFL. So here's my interview, the opposite of Russell Wilson, a guy that's actually very engaging and social, Vernon Davis. With Vernon Davis. Vernon, first of all, I have to ask you, what do you think of NFL football in Vegas? And, now we're trying to get an NBA team. Just from a professional athlete standpoint, what Vegas has become.
I think Vegas has become like the place to be when it comes to any team, whether it's football, basketball, what have you. I think it's a great place to have any franchise, any organization, especially when it comes to sports.
What do you think of this area here at Westgate in the Elvis Suite? Kind of a legendary room, talking about mental health. Just your thoughts in general of being here today.
Anytime you have a chance to be in the presence of something legendary is always good. But this is a great venue to have this event, and I hope that everyone gets something out of this, something great that they can take on with them. And I look forward to festivities.
The pressures, the struggles of being a professional athlete, people don't realize mentally how draining it can be on you. Can you talk a little bit about that? You've been through it yourself.
Yeah, just as an athlete, they expect us to be superheroes and just warriors, but we go through a lot of the things that other people go through when it comes to stress, anxiety, just having fear, just the daily impact when it comes to like trauma and anything. But we're just normal people who happen to be good at something, and some are great at it. But it's been quite the journey, and it's awesome.
Vernon, thank you so much.
Yeah.
There you go. Good dude. Very well spoken,
Sounds like it, you can
intelligent,
tell.
very well spoken, appreciative, humble.
Handlers didn't get in the way. PR didn't get in the way.
No, they all had like one or two people with them, but they were very nice. And Vernon Davis was couldn't have been nicer. Really, really good dude.
You can tell.
And he struggled. The way they talk. He struggled a little bit with mental health over the years, and what a great player he was. Last interview I'm going to play for you, and this is a guy that I grew up with. Recognized him right away, although he's gotten a little bigger. Man, he had some great years with the Golden State Warriors. I'm talking about the former NBA All-Star himself, Mitch Richmond.
Oh.
In fact, our friend Paul McKeskey
Blast from the past.
Played with him on the Golden State Warriors. That was with Tim Hardaway and Chris Mullin. Those are some great Golden State Warrior teams. And Mitch just shows up with his sunglasses. He's sticked out just a little bit.
Don't blame him.
He sticked out a little bit, but really, really good dude. So I had a chance to catch up with him, and here's my interview with Mitch Richmond. We're here with the legend, the NBA legend, Mitch Richmond. Mitch, I just want to ask you just about Vegas in general to start. You've spent a lot of time in this city. We're trying to get a team here. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Vegas is booming. I think Vegas is going in the right direction. I think everyone is really trying to find a niche in the business. I think the NBA is doing a wonderful job in including including Vegas and everything. From soccer to football. I think all of the major sports are really trying to capitalize and utilize Vegas in the right way.
Take me back to your first year in the league.
Yes.
What advice would you give to these guys in NBA Summer League, even from a mental health perspective, all the pressures that an athlete has to go through? What would you say, Mitch, to some of these younger guys as advice?
Well, I think we all hear voices in our head at times. I think the first thing you got to know what's right and what's wrong, and feeding your mind the positive wave instead of the negative things. Because we all have voices. But I think for us, it's very important to really kind of dig deep in what your opportunity is. You're playing a sport. Learn that sport the best way you possibly can. Learn all the avenues at it. But also, you got to have your mental and your physical at the right path, so you don't listen to the negative thoughts that's in your head.
I know you're a pretty smart businessman. You're involved in a lot of entities. Did you ever think of NBA ownership or coaching, that sort of thing? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually, I was a part of the ownership at one point in time. The Kings. That didn't go as well as I thought it would, but yeah, I was a part of that. So I've been in the industry as far as sports, as far as in the front office. I worked for Golden State Warriors. When I retired, set myself up to go move right into the office after I retired. Worked with Sacramento Kings, coached at St. John's. So I've been around. I've been around sports, and I've been around the business side of for a long time.
A player out there today that reminds you of yourself, say 15, 20 years ago, who would that be?
Man, I don't know if it would actually kind of play the same. I think the guys that really kind of use all of the court as well as the mid-range, the three-point shot. We don't have similar games, but I love the way Kawhi plays because he used all of the court, and I felt like my game was that way too. I used the three, I used the post-up, I used the mid-range, and I think that's.
Thanks, Mitch. By the way, and finishing that sentence, I said, by the way, my friend Paul McKeskey wants to talk to you, and I gave him Mo's number. So.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
What did he say?
He said, yeah, Mo. His eyes like.
So he got excited?
Yeah, he's going to call Paul.
Yeah, the reaction's important.
Yeah.
He lit up.
I love that guy, too. I love Mitch Richmond. He's the best.
He just gave you a lot of time, and he thought about his answers. And
I love
just
that
a good
guy.
dude. Well, who did he? I missed it. Who did he say he was?
Kawhi.
No, I heard Kawhi trying to be an ownership group.
So he owned a part of the Sacramento Kings, and he said that didn't go as well as he would have
hoped.
hoped.
I heard that, but I didn't hear what he said.
And then I didn't even know this, but I guess he was on the coaching staff at St. John's. I never knew that about him.
Oh, cool. Really cool.
I didn't know a lot about Mitch post-retirement, what he's been up to, but he's been very involved.
Well, that's a great question because you found two things you didn't know about him.
I did not know that, and I didn't even know Mitch Richmond was going to be there. Carmelo Anthony showed up towards the end of the event, and then they had this meeting with the business side of it. I'm telling you this. I don't think this Players TV is going to work out.
Are you allowed to say anything about it? Well, what does that mean?
I mean, I don't know a lot about it except that it's going to be on Amazon, and I don't know. It's going to be, I think, or what's it going to be on? I don't even know what network it's going to be on. I don't even know. But,
but you don't know about it, but you don't think it's going to work out?
No, I don't. The reason why I don't is because they really didn't say a lot about it. And what I actually think that it is, maybe I'll have Numchuck read what that says because I can't read it. But what I guess it's a first ever athlete-owned media network. Watch 24/7 on Amazon. Okay, Amazon Prime. So I was right. YouTube TV, Sling TV, and all. Okay.
So they've invested together this network that's going to be...
I think it's an FU to the media. It's like guys like Kyrie Irving and Russell Wilson. They just want to do it. But listen, I don't think you understand how much content you need to be a 24/7 network. It's not going to work. Okay? You can only interview Carmelo Anthony and Chris Paul and Russell Wilson only so many times. You can only go into their house and follow them around so many times. You need a lot of content. And I'm sorry, I love DeAndre Jordan, but I don't want to hear him being interviewed every day.
And they're pretty, boring individuals. You can't look at them all day. They're great basketball players, but I'd love a reality show following Trump around the world. That'd be awesome.
Listen, DeAndre Jordan, he's going to have this cooking show, and that, I'm sure that'll be fun, but it's like, it's not going to work. I'm sorry, they're not going to get ratings.
Any idea when it will launch?
Investment. What's that?
Any idea of a launch date?
It's supposed to be launching now, but
so they've already got it together.
I guess. I'm sorry, I just don't think it's going to work.
We'll see.
I don't need to hear Kyrie Irving talking about how much he loves the Jewish people. Yeah, I don't need to hear Kyrie Irving talking about his anti-vaccine bullcrap.
Mark
nonsense.
Cuban just gave him $126 million or whatever.
I was going to play a promo, but it's going to waste time because I don't even like it, and I don't think the network's going to work. So yeah, no, I appreciate you offering them, Chuck, but we got to take a break.
Can we talk about what quickly Mark Cuban was thinking, handing out Kyrie Irving $126 million when Kyrie had absolutely no leverage and no team wanted him?
I'm going to tell you right now, Kyrie Irving and Luka are not going to work out. It's not. I don't know what Mark Cuban was thinking.
He's paid him 3 years max.
Kyrie Irving is a mental midget. He is a cancer to every team he's ever played for, except for maybe when he played for Duke one year when he was a freshman, but
and the year he won a championship with LeBron because it was under LeBron.
Yeah, but
then after that he requested
nobody likes playing with him. He was hated in Boston. He still is. Anyway, we're going to get to NBA Summer League, and there's also a controversy brewing when it comes to the World Series of Poker in the main event. We have some audio to prove that, and we'll play that when we come back.
Love this.
Yeah, there's some controversy brewing there, the way Caesars Properties, I know that's a shocker, Caesars Properties screwing something up. But I'll talk a little NBA Summer League with Guy David when we come back. Take a quick break. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Wynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Wynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines, beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase affordable day bed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit sapphirepoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Welcome to Hash House A Go-Go.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Monday. Thank you so much for joining us. Going to talk a little NBA Summer League coming up next, and a controversy at the World Series of Poker main event. Caesars Properties effing things up. I might be checking out Jackson's Bar and Grill. I haven't been there in a few days, and I'm going to go check it out, I think, today. My good friends over there at Jackson's Gaming Bar, Flamingo and Jones, they got some pretty cool promotions. Well, they always have cool promotions, but I really like it. You know, everyone is so close to hitting a royal flush, and you get so disappointed. Well, guess what? 2 days every week in July. If you're 4 to the royal, you still win. Here's how. You get a chance to spin the wheel to win up to $3,000.
Good.
How cool is that? 4 to the royal promotion at Jackson's. Great food, great atmosphere, great bartenders. I love it. I'm there all the time. My favorite gaming bar in town. In fact, the owner of Jackson's was at Sapphire a few days ago. He showed up on Friday.
Love that guy. Great dude.
He's a good dude.
Good business owner, great dude.
He just told me about Larry Nassar. Remember the coach who molested all those kids, the gymnastics
Oh, he
coach?
got stabbed, right?
He got stabbed, yeah. I was
in
reading
jail.
I hope they just, I wish they killed him. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be honest with you. I mean, the guy is, I feel people that molest kids, I'm telling you, just throw them off a cliff.
I feel like the prisoners know that, and it's the first time they can randomly kill someone when they're doing life, and they're almost going to get praised for it.
Yeah. Let me before we get to the basketball, because that's going to be a long conversation.
Okay.
We need at least 10 minutes on that. So anyone who knows me knows I'm a big poker fan, and the World Series of Poker is growing and growing. And I guess this year they've had over 11,000 people in the main event, most ever in the World Series of Poker in the history.
You speak about poker passionately.
I can't stand Caesars Properties to begin with. I hate them. Hate is a strong word. I hate them.
Explain all this to me in like lame terms.
So they take a rake, meaning that every person that enters the tournament, they take a small percentage, and the company keeps that,
Okay.
right? So obviously they want
That's normal?
Yeah. So any tournament will take a small percentage. They want as many people as possible. Okay. The problem is, and as poker pro Mike Mattisal put it correctly, and I usually disagree with him on everything, but he's right about this. It's completely unfair the way they're doing it is because you could actually late register and enter this tournament when half the field has already been eliminated. And I'm going to play you proof of that because there's a guy that, not you, a guy, not the guy.
But you have to pay significantly more, right?
No. No, they let you not only late register, but they let you register with 50 big blinds when half the field has already been eliminated, which is so unfair.
How can that happen? Like how?
Because they don't have the room to put everybody in play in one day, which I understand. But there has to be some sort of cutoff where you say to yourself, wait a second, if half the field is already gone, isn't it unfair to allow players to register late? And I'm going to play
what am I missing here? That's a clear advantage.
Yes,
I can register late?
It is. And here is audio from a player who knows he's not a good poker player, but he used it as a strategy to wait and be the last person to enter. Have a listen to this.
All right, we are here with Kerry Welsh, and he has a very interesting strategy for this main event. What's your strategy?
My strategy is to be the very last entrant. Over half of the field is already eliminated, and I'm not a good no-limit player, so the less I have to play, the more it involves luck and the more of a chance I have. My wife said, get out of the house, we need the write-offs.
Yeah, unbelievable. Nice job, Caesars Properties, you buffoons. Nice job. People have to put up, many of them, $10,000. They work all year in hopes of a dream of winning the main event, and you screw everybody. At least the people that were eliminated. That's not fair at all.
I feel like I'm missing something here because I'm not an exceptionally intelligent person, like I said earlier. That is the most obvious thing ever. Like, good for this guy for being smart and finding a loophole in the rules, but it doesn't seem like a loophole.
What a joke. What a joke.
How can that be allowed? How can that be allowed?
All Caesars.
Did you start in the quarterfinals at Wimbledon?
Because I'll tell you why. Because Caesars they don't care about the integrity of their tournaments, and they don't care about their players, even though they'll lie and they say they do. All they care about is their bottom line and how much money can they make. They wanted as many people as possible playing in this tournament so they could make as much money as possible, even if that means that half the field, as this guy said, would be eliminated, but yet he can still register in the tournament, which is absolutely absurd.
Well, Brian, what are the other players thinking of this? Imagine you played all day, you're mentally exhausted, and you survived, and then you see a fresh guy just come in. Hi, guys, I'm joining you now. Is it like that? I'd be pissed.
Yeah, but this is an extreme because you have so many people that have already been eliminated. Anyway, obviously, Caesars Properties either did one of two things. They didn't think it through or they didn't care, and maybe a little bit of both. But anyway.
Fix that.
Yeah. It's just...
Never again.
Can't fix it now, but I mean, Caesars Properties, they should be ashamed of themselves for the way they've run this tournament. Anyway, let's talk a little bit of some people that should not be ashamed of themselves. Warren Ligari, who joins us last week, the creator of NBA Summer League. NBA Summer League was a lot of fun. I've watched Wembanyama play both of his games, and sad news that he is not going to be playing anymore in the NBA Summer League. They're sitting him out, but I did get a chance to watch him play twice.
They had to do that.
First game, he was not very good. He was nervous, a little jittery. He was not making shots, but he kind of came into his own yesterday. Played very well.
Played well yesterday.
Made some shots. Nice moves in the post. Listen, he's going to have a lot of time to get better. He's very young. I don't think he's ever going to be an NBA All-Star. I could be wrong on that.
Whoa.
I don't.
Repeat that.
I think he really struggles.
You don't think he's ever going to be an NBA All-Star?
I don't, because I think he's going to struggle with the physicality of the game. To me, that's the big issue here.
If he never becomes an NBA All-Star, that is a bust. Yes, considering everything that's happened in recruiting him as number one pick, there's never been euphoria and fanfare like this year.
I don't know if I call it a bust. I think there's a lot of people that are giving him a little bit too much hype. Look, here's the deal. He obviously has immense talent. He's very, very tall. The problem is he was getting beat up under the basket at times by guys that are G Leaguers and guys that aren't even going to be in the NBA. Professionals, but not guys that are even NBA players. I saw a guy, he got posterized in the first game. He struggled physically. And these are guys that aren't even going to be on, some of them are not even going to be on NBA rosters. Imagine what's going to happen when he's playing against some of these legit NBA centers.
Well, surely the Spurs and the rest of the NBA know that. They know that he's very thin, he's very young.
Yeah.
He needs to develop into his body because the expectations are huge. I just think he needs to work out if he wants to be a guard or a center because he sort of looks lost in between two right now.
The problem is his dribble is so high that he also turns the ball over a lot. Listen, he's going to get better. He's going to have a lot of time. He kind of came into his own a little bit in the game yesterday. He's going to be fine. He's going to have a nice NBA career.
Not an all-star. Cool.
I just don't think he's going to be as good as some people are making him out to be, and maybe he will. That's just my personal opinion from what I've seen.
Well, not as good is a fair statement because people were saying he's the best since LeBron James,
okay,
which clearly is not true.
That's absurd. Listen, there are guys I've watched in the Summer League where I said right out of the gun, I said, boom. This guy Tatum's going to be unbelievable.
But every number one pick should be an all-star.
I watched,
it doesn't work out like that, but they
Blake
should be.
Griffin, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. I mean, there are a lot of guys I've watched in Summer League where I said, wow. Tatum, I said this kid's going to be special. And it's still so early in his career, but he is special. And then even a guy like a Jaylen Brown. I remember I watched Rajon Rondo. I mean, there's so many guys I watched go through Summer League, and some of the guys I said this is going to. I remember I watched Anthony Bennett. I said this kid's terrible. He's not. I can't believe he was the number one pick. He's terrible, But anyway, there are some Vegas kids. Robinson is one of them who played for Fresno State. He's a stud.
Yeah, he looks good.
Robinson is a stud, and he had a year in the G League. He is going to be a really good NBA player. He is, to me, right now, he's NBA ready. I'm not saying he's a starter, but he is NBA ready. He can shoot the three. He can post up. He's physical. I was really impressed with the way he played the other day. I watched him play the other day. That kid is ready to go, and he is really physical. McCoy, former UNLV Rebel, was on one of the benches, not getting any playing time, and then there's other guys that are getting a lot of playing time that are exceeding expectations. But anyway, Wembanyama is going to be just fine. He's going to have a long NBA career. I'm worried that he, a little injury. He's kind of he looks like a toothpick out there, and he doesn't utilize his strength sometimes as much as he should.
He's very different. We know that, so we've got to let him develop into his body. I hope the Spurs. I mean, they've got this, surely. Yeah. They know they have a plan.
But yesterday, he had 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Like I said, he came into his own, and he looked a lot more comfortable. He's so young. People forget how young he is and the nerves that, he's on a world stage, so he's going to be just fine.
I'm not taking anything about that first game.
No, the nerves.
He had to be nervous. I said that to Mo. Like, you can't walk into that and not be nervous.
But what I do take away is this. He struggled with the physicality of the game. He's playing against professionals. Yep. He's not playing against necessarily even many NBA legit players. He's playing against G League guys. Guys are going to be playing in Europe, and some of them showed him up, posterized him. He's going to struggle with the physicality of the game. And if he wants to be one of the best to ever play his position, he has to bulk up. I will say this. It was nice to see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the building the other night, watching him play. They shook hands.
Rare appearance.
Not a bad. If he just learned a hook shot, if Kareem could just get him to learn a consistent hook shot, I think that would be something that he could utilize very well. But I'm telling you, he's going to get pushed around. And what Paul McKeskey said in studio last week is right. He's going to struggle with the physicality of the game. He's going to have some good games. He's going to have some bad games. He's very young. The point is he's going to have a nice, long NBA career as long as he doesn't get hurt a lot. He's going to be fine, but I don't think he's going to. The next best player to LeBron is absurd. He's not even close to that, and he's got a lot of work to do to get better. But he's going to be okay. And luckily, he's on the San Antonio Spurs, where he's probably going to get a lot of minutes. Popovich just signed a 5-year deal, and of course, Popovich was in attendance. Every NBA head coach.
He's now the highest. He took over Monty Williams, the highest paid coach in the NBA at 97 years old.
You ask me, he deserves it over Monty Williams, even though the Spurs had a terrible year last year. He deserves it over Monty Williams with what he's accomplished in his coaching career. And I love Pop. Just great with the fans, signing autographs for everybody. And as I mentioned, I had a chance to...
he can thank Wemby for his new contract. He probably would have retired.
Yeah, that's true. Meeting Jerry West was cool.
Yep.
You see all the old-timers, right? 90s guys and guys that played in the league that you recognize. And that it's pretty cool. You rub shoulders with some of the game's best. The basketball's good. These kids are playing really hard, and they are. Most of them are kids. They're playing really hard. And you get to see some really good, raw, young talent, and that's my favorite part of NBA Summer League.
Summer League is the talking point of America right now. Mm-hmm. It was so busy this weekend. I'm very prideful of it. It's really cool.
It is really cool, and the crowds have been phenomenal. I'm interested to see what the crowds will be like today and tomorrow, during the week. But the crowds have been phenomenal. The buzz is great. You walk into Cox Pavilion, it's completely full. You go into the Thompson Mack Center, you can't find a seat in the lower bowl. It's full.
They had to sit Wemby, right? Like, first game, they're like, all right, he was nervous. Second game, he's all right. We're going to show the world now how good he can be. They did that. He's thin. We don't want another Chet Holmgren incident. Let's sit him and work on him ourselves. Right decision? What do you hesitate
No, I think they should play him a little bit more, and he should get a little bit more experience. I understand you don't want him to get hurt. I think a few more games under his belt probably would have been a good decision, but I'm sure that's a Pop decision and other guys that are making those decisions.
Too conservative.
But, what do I know? These guys are making the decisions, and I'm not. And
well, you have an opinion.
So, yeah, I mean, I think I'd play him in a couple more. He had one good game. Out of the 2 games, he had 1 good one, 1 bad one. Play him another game, maybe 1 more.
Okay.
But they're not, and it's bad. It sucks for the NBA Summer League because he was the big draw. But there are plenty of other great stories, and I'm looking forward to going this afternoon and watching a couple more games, guys.
You're back
it's gonna
there?
be fun. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Oh, time's gone quick.
Look at that. The 2 hours.
We're done?
2 hours goes by very, very fast.
I had a million more questions in my head, and I thought I should randomly check the time. All right.
2 hours go by very, very fast. I don't know what happened to Amy Tarkanian, but I'm gonna have to make sure she's okay, and maybe we can reschedule that.
Have a
interview.
stern word to her.
Yes.
No one stands us up
Amy,
like that.
what happened to you? What happened to you? It's unacceptable. Anyway, hopefully she's okay. We'll find out what happened. But Guy, been a fun Monday as always. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. And everybody, we're going to take a 22-hour break. Have a good afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian